Resourceful Designer, episode 214, How to Exude Confidence.
Welcome to the Resourceful Designer podcast, offering solutions to streamline your graphic and web design business so you can get back to designing. And now your host. He won the most enthusiastic player on his hockey team when he was 10 years old. Mark Descout.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the importance of confidence when running your design business. And I'm also going to share a resource with you for web hosting. Now, what have I been up to? Well, not much has changed over these last few weeks with this quarantine. I'm currently recording this on Saturday, May 2nd. I normally record during the week, but I just never got around to it this week, and I knew my wife was working today, Saturday, so I figure I'll just take some time today to do it. But my last few weeks have been pretty steady with the same type of work. I've got a few new podcast cover art orders that came in. I've got a couple of websites that I'm working on. But that's just about it. My normal clients that I might have some other work, they're pretty slow because of the whole quarantine thing going on right now. But I'm still keeping busy, trying to do a little bit with my social media, working a little bit more on my LinkedIn presence and my Instagram, just to see how things are going there. But for the most part, it's been same old, same old. Although things aren't same old in the Resourceful Designer community, lots of conversations going on in there. We're still having our Monday morning kickoff meetings that are really helpful for those people attending. We just start off our week talking to each other, seeing how things are going, how the weekend went, what sort of projects we have going for the week. So that's really nice. I think even after this quarantine's done, I might keep that meeting going. But other than that, there's been lots of conversations, a lot of it around the COVID-19 stuff. So all of them discussing the different things that help, the benefits and all that going on with COVID-19 and that. But there's also been a lot of discussion, help being asked, a lot of talk around websites and different plugins, using content delivery networks, things to do with themes or how to do certain things. So a lot of great conversation going on in there, as well as a couple of samples some people wanted some critiques on or some advice on some designs. So that's the sort of stuff we love seeing in the community. And we would love to have you as part of the community as well. If you're interested in joining the Resourceful Designer community, please visit, resourcefuldesigner.com/community. And now the resource of the week. And this week's resource, as I mentioned in the intro, is for website hosting. And it is my host of choice, SiteGround. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, you know that I used to use HostGator for my stuff. I actually have two hosts. I have a host in Canada that I use when I originally started my business. They're called Names Pro. And I've been using them for years, and I still have clients on them as well. But recently, in the last couple of years, I switched over to SiteGround from HostGator. I had my own personal stuff on HostGator, which was, I don't even remember why I did that. I had all my client stuff and that on Names Pro here in Canada, but when I started mine on HostGator. Actually, I do remember. It's when I started my first WordPress website, Names Pro wasn't really keen on WordPress at the time, and I decided to use HostGator because I had heard they were a good one. And I never had an issue with HostGator. I know some people do. I never had an issue, but I really wanted to test out SiteGround. And when they had a really good sale, I purchased there and I moved everything over to SiteGround, and I have never been happier. Now, the reason I like them is just how easy it is. They do have various levels of hosting, including WordPress dedicated hosting, which is what I'm using. And they just recently upgraded their whole dashboard to make it a lot more proficient or easy to use. So I'm really enjoying that. I've only fiddled around with it for the last couple of days, but I'm really liking what they've done with it so far, the new version. But one of the big perks to SiteGround, besides their speed, ease of use, the different options that they offer, is their customer support. There have been times where I've needed help with things. There was an issue with the website or I just wasn't sure, and they have a chat feature, and it depends on your level. I actually have the Go Geek, which is their top level hosting plan, and with that, I get unlimited support. And anytime I want to open up a chat with them and talk, they have been so helpful. Usually within just a couple of minutes, whatever issue I had has been resolved. And unlike some other places, they actually explain what they did. So it's not just like I'm having a problem and they go, okay, well, we fixed the problem. Thank you very much. No, they'll take the time to explain what the problem is, how they fixed it, in case it's something I want to do in the future, if I want to learn. So I am loving SiteGround. I recommend them now as my web hosting platform of choice. Now, there's a lot of great ones out there, but that's the one I'm using and I'm familiar with them and I'm really enjoying everything that they offer. They make it so easy to secure websites, to add extra services to them. They're just a pleasure to work with. Now, I do have an affiliate with them. So if you want to test them out, if you want to sign up, visit resourcefuldesigner.com/SiteGround and register. Now, just one thing to keep in mind, when you register with SiteGround for the very first time, they offer you a special price, and that price is good. You can choose from 1, 2, or 3 years. You're better off in the long run, if you have the money, if you have the funds, you're better off to buy the 3-year plan because you end up saving. It's like getting a free year of hosting if you do it that way, just by the money you save by keeping that discount going for the full 3 years. Because otherwise, when it comes time to renew, you're going to renew at a higher price. So if you can't afford it, I highly suggest you get the 3-year plan. And once again, that link, resourcefuldesigner.com/SiteGround. And now, how to exude confidence. Designers, web designers, graphic designers, usually fall into one of two categories. They're either pixel pushers or they're design thinkers. Pixel pushers rely mostly on instructions in order to do their job. A client or an art director tells them exactly what they need, and the designer uses his or her skills to create it. Pixel pushers can be amazing at turning those instructions into something beautiful. However, pixel pushers tend not to exercise their creative powers as much, since they let other people do the whole concept thinking for them. Now, design thinkers, on the other hand, not only do they know how to use the tools at their disposal in order to create stunning designs, they also have the skills to imagine and conceptualize those designs from scratch. They can take very vague ideas, the smallest of thoughts, and turn them into something amazing. Now, of course, I'm being a bit too harsh on these two distinctions. There are really no hard line dividing the two of them. Pixel pushers do require design thinking skills in order to turn someone's ideas into reality, just like design thinkers have to have the technical skills to turn their ideas into reality. In fact, in most cases, design thinkers started their career as pixel pushers, following instructions of, somebody more experienced than they are. Think of your own career path. Were you ever a junior designer? Did you ever follow the instructions of a designer more senior than you? That's how I started when I was hired at the print shop. I was straight out of college, and I had no experience whatsoever working with real clients. So I relied on the other, more knowledgeable designers that were working with me for guidance. That's pretty much how most designers started and how most designers started to grow. Now, some designers are content with the life of what I'm calling a pixel pusher, content with the little bit of creative freedom they have as they design things based on someone else's idea. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know several designers who enjoy what they do. They do exactly this and they love their work. They know that the pressure of the design concept, the pressure of dealing with clients, the success or failure of the campaign they design is all on someone else's shoulders. All they have to worry about is the design itself. But for some of us, people like you and like me, being a pixel pusher isn't fulfilling enough. We want more. We want to deal with the clients. We want to come up with the ideas. We want to manipulate those pixels and bring what's in our head to life. We want to revel in our successful campaigns that we design for our clients. We want to learn from the failed ones because that's how we become better. But how do we get from over there, being a pixel pusher, to over here, being a design thinker? Well, the answer is confidence. The key ingredient in graduating from PixelPusher to design thinker is confidence. Confidence in your skills, confidence in your knowledge, and confidence in your ability to do what it is you do without the need for instructions from anyone else. You're listening to this podcast right now because you either run your own design business, either part-time or full-time or even freelance, or you're dreaming of one day starting one. So chances are you fall into the design thinker category. And that's great. Welcome to the club. Glad to have you. But just how confident are you? You see, there are two categories, as I said, the PixelPushers and the design thinkers. But when you look at just the design thinkers, there are many, many levels of those. And mostly, those various levels of design thinkers are determined by the designer's level of confidence. That's why you see some self-employed graphic or web designers who are struggling and barely getting by, while others are hugely successful. It's not their skills as a designer that separates them. They could be on par. They could equally design some amazing things. It's their confidence level that makes them different. Their confidence when dealing with clients, their confidence in their own abilities, their confidence in what they charge. And all of this adds up to greater success. Think about it. How much confidence would you have in, let's say, a lawyer who tells you, well, I'm not really sure about your case? Or what about a surgeon who tells you that, oh yeah, I've seen this procedure done many times, but I've never actually performed it myself? Or what about an auto mechanic who says, sure, I'll have a look at your car, but I have no idea what I'm looking for? I bet your trust in these people would be very low, and you might have second thoughts about proceeding with them. And that's because they didn't show confidence. Now, imagine your interactions with your own design clients. From their perspective, how are you coming off? How confident are they that you're the right person for their project? I want to tell you a story. A while back, this is going back a couple of years ago, I hired a local artist to do 2 illustrations for me for a project. I had actually met her at a local comic book convention. They had a bunch of artists displaying their work and just sketching things. And I really liked the style that she had, her illustration style. So after talking to her a little bit, I took her business card and I brought it home and I made some notes. It had a link to her website. So when, I don't know how long after this it was, a project came up that I needed an illustration and I thought her style would be perfect for this, I pulled out her business card and I called her. Now, just on a side note, this is the whole bit about building your community around your business. I do this all the time. I collect business cards from people that I meet that I think one day I may need. And in this case, it paid off. There was an illustrator. I had her card and I contacted her and she did a project for me. So I suggest you do that. Anytime you get a chance, you meet somebody that you might not need them now, but who knows down the future, get their information, their business card or whatever, get their information from them because you never know. But anyways, back to my story. I called her up and I explained what I needed. I needed 2 illustrations and I gave her the specs and all that and asked her for a price. And this is how she responded to me. Now, of course, I'm paraphrasing or whatever, but her response was, okay, that sounds good. How does $300 sound? That was pretty much the way she said it. And as she said that, it showed me that she's not used to doing this sort of thing. She might be a talented illustrator, but I don't know how often she's been commissioned to do something. And the way she responded that way might have actually given me pause and made me second guess my decision to hire her. Now, luckily, as I said, I had seen her portfolio and I knew that she could do what I wanted. So the problem wasn't that she lacked confidence in her ability, or maybe she did, I don't know. But she definitely lacked confidence in what her skills were worth. Now, I decided that I'd play around with her a little bit. So when she asked me, how does $300 sound? My immediate response was, well, it doesn't sound as good as $200. Now, don't get me wrong. I was ready to pay her $300. It was a very fair price for what I was asking her to do. But I wanted to see what she would say. Well, her response to that was, "Oh, well, I don't know. I don't think I could do it for less than 250." And she did it just like that. She didn't say it as a statement. She said it as a question. So my response was, "You don't think you could do it for less than 250? Does that mean that if I told you my maximum budget for this project was 225, that you're going to turn me down?" And she immediately went, no, that's okay. Yeah, I suppose I could do it for 225. And she agreed to that. She had absolutely no confidence while dealing with me. Now, for the record, I did actually pay her $300 because that was the price she originally quoted me. And I did explain to her why I toyed around with her. I told her, I says, "You had no confidence in what you told me. If she had simply said, 'Sure, I can do those illustrations. The job's going to cost $300. I wouldn't have questioned it. I would have paid the price, been very happy. I was very happy with what she provided, but I would have been very happy with the whole engagement with her. And I told her that the way she presented her price actually gave me pause and made me wonder for a bit. And if I hadn't actually seen her portfolio and knew what she can do, I might have turned away and said, okay, maybe this isn't the person that I want to hire. Now, on a fun note and a very happy note, I did run into her in town. As I said, she was a local artist. I didn't really know her beforehand, and I haven't used her since, but I did run into her about a year or so after that project, and she thanked me. Not for the project. Well, actually, she did thank me for the project, but she thanked me for the lesson I taught her. She said that since our discussion, since that initial project, that she's actually picked up a few other freelance projects. She told me at that time that I was the first one that had ever contacted her for a project like that. But since then, she's had a couple of others. And she took my advice and she started giving her quotes. When she had a price, she would just give the price with confidence. And you know what? Nobody complained. She said nobody tried to haggle with her for a lower cost. And she's even raised her prices and is charging more than what she originally quoted me. And nobody has complained. That's the power of confidence. If you give your quote with confidence, clients are more likely to accept it and hire you. If you give your proposal with confidence, clients are more likely to trust you and allow you to proceed with your idea. And if you present your design proofs with confidence, clients are more likely to like and approve them. So, how do you exude confidence? In order to help you feel more confident while talking to clients and promoting your design business, I've compiled some thoughts from a couple of articles. I read some articles on really two good ones, one of them on entrepreneur.com and another one on wisdomtimes.com. And I'll include links in the show notes to the actual articles I read because they were really good. But I took some of their ideas and I rewrote them in my own way here. So I got a bunch of points here I'm going to go through on how you can feel more confident if you need help. Now, maybe you don't. Maybe you're listening to this and you're saying, I already feel really confident. And if so, good for you. You're ahead of the curve. I know that it took me a little bit at the beginning when I was designing, just talking to clients, and that I won't say submissive, but I wasn't as confident dealing with clients. And it took me a while before I built that up. And I was able to tell clients, this is how it is. This is how it's going to be. And the clients started respecting me a whole lot more. So the first point I want to say here is stop waiting to feel confident. You got to realize that confidence is a state of mind, and it grows with you the more you practice it. You don't have to feel confident before you start, meaning you don't tell yourself, well, I don't feel confident right now, so I'm not going to do this. You need to start small and expand on it. In fact, one great thing to do is to start by acting confident. Even if you don't feel it, you can act as if you're confident. And the more you do this, the more you act that way, your mind will shift and you'll start actually feeling the confidence. I know it sounds crazy, but it does work. And keep in mind that while you're trying to be confident, it's okay to have a little bit of fear or nervousness. That's normal. Even people that are confident still feel that. When I go in to present to a client, even though I'm confident with everything I'm going to do, I still feel a little bit nervous. And there's always that little bit of fear in my gut. That's actually healthy. It helps keep you on track. And even though you do feel that fear or that nervousness, you can still exude confidence. Now, one way to feel more confident is to focus on the benefits to your clients. What is it that you're bringing to them? You know what you can do as a designer, but what does that do for them? If you focus on that part and you talk to the clients about that part, so don't talk about what you're going to do or how you're going to do it. Talk about what you are doing and how it's going to help the client. And if you make that clear for them in a confident way, you say, this is going to help you in this way. Even though you may not have any way of knowing that whatever design is going to grow their business, it's going to increase this, or it's going to make them more predominant here. Just saying with confidence that it can do that. Not that it will. Never tell a client it will. But if you tell a client that it can help them, it can grow them, it can get them more traffic, it can increase their revenue. If you show confidence in that, clients will start to agree with you. And then without saying anything else, you're already halfway there to getting the job, getting the approval, landing them as a client, whatever. So focus more on the benefits to your client and less on what it is you're actually doing. Now, one of the best ways to display confidence is to be direct, meaning don't beat around the bush. Tell your clients how it is and how it's going to be. This is the price. Don't say, well, I think this is going to be the price, or what about this price? No, this is the price. This is what I propose. Here is what I designed. Don't ask them what they think, or I hope you like it, or that sort of stuff. You just say, here is what I designed. If you study the confident people in your lives, you'll notice that most of them are very direct in the things that they say. They don't beat around the bush. They tell it how it is with confidence. The next thing on my list here is learn to accept rejection. In order to be confident, or at least come off as confident, you have to have the ability to accept no as an answer and then move on. Think of it this way. Every time someone says no to you, that just means you're one step closer to getting that big yes you're hoping for. I know it sounds crazy, but if you think that way, it'll help. So if you confidently give a quote to a client and the client rejects it, so be it. Move on. The next time you have a similar project that you're quoting on, maybe that experience will help you adjust your price. You can use what you learned and maybe make an adjustment. Or maybe not. Maybe you'll just think, well, that client wasn't the right one. The next one will accept the price. This is also a great way to do it when you are raising your prices. When I started doing websites, I was doing websites for $500 a pop. But then after a while, I started, okay, well, the next client, I'm going to charge him $750. And I just told it as it is. And the client agreed. Then the next client, I offered to do a website for $1,000, then $15, then $2. And now I charge thousands of dollars for a website. And sure, along the way, some clients said no. And then it was up to me at that point to say, oh, did I overstep, or was it just that one client? But no, I realized that some people are going to say no. And I had to accept those rejections. Some people are just not meant to work with you. And I didn't say, oh, well, okay, well, I'll drop my price. Or, oh, well, I'm sorry, how about this? No, that was the price I gave. If they weren't willing to pay that, then I moved on and tried getting the next client. Now, a couple of pointers here, and these ones I picked out directly from entrepreneur.com, the article that I said I'd link in the show notes. One is package yourself for success. And what they meant by that is in order to show confidence, you need to look the part. So if you're going to meet some sort of corporate client, maybe a lawyer or some high up business person, dress formally if you're going to meet with them. Even if it's over video, dress formally, put on a shirt and tie. If you look the part, you'll feel the part. And if you're dealing with one of these new startups, these new hipster type things, maybe you don't want to wear a shirt and tie, but still look presentable, look clean. The better you look, the more confident you'll feel. I'm not somebody who wears a suit very often, but I can tell you, when I put on a suit, a shirt and tie and the whole bit, man, I seem to walk around a little bit taller and I feel good about myself. That's the confidence. So try that whenever you're meeting with a client. Now, I just mentioned standing tall. That's the next thing that was on this list, was correct your posture. Posture is a clear indication of your confidence level. If you've ever seen somebody that's slouching or, kind of not standing up straight, they almost come off as insecure or lazy or worse, disinterested. You do not want a client to think that of you. So when you're meeting with somebody, whether you're sitting or standing, be straighter. Sit up straight in the chair. Stand straight. Now, don't look stiff. You're not trying to look like you're strapped to a backboard. But just stand tall, stand proud, and you will automatically come off more confident. Now, some other great advice here. Do your best and worry less. Meaning, stop worrying what other people think of you. If you doubt yourself, people will know. They'll feel it. And that will definitely not come off as confident. So focus on the things you do well and learn from your mistakes. And if there's things you don't do well that are required for the job, confidently say that you can hire somebody to do it for you. When I'm dealing with a client and they say they need illustration, I just tell them, that's no problem. I don't do illustration myself, but I have people that I can get to do that. No worries. Even if I don't know what illustrator I'm going to use, I will tell the client that, yes, I have people. And if I have to, I'll go find somebody after the fact. But I let the client know that I have somebody and yes, I can handle this project. Now, I love this next bit of advice, and that was focus on your future. And it's so pertinent because last episode, I talked about creating a vision statement for your business. And a vision statement, if you'll remember, is what you imagine your business to be down the road. It helps you keep focused on your long-term goals for your business. Well, if you keep your vision statement in mind as you're dealing with clients, it'll actually give you more confidence. It'll help you refocus on what's most important for you and your business right now. So when you're dealing with a client, in your mind, if you're thinking, is this going to help me reach that vision? If the answer is yes, then you're automatically going to feel more confident with your dealing with that client. Another great bit of advice, embrace positivity. The more positive a person you are, the more confidence you'll exude. So when dealing with a client, look for the positive aspects in their criticism. If they start criticizing something you did, turn that conversation around to what they liked as opposed to what they didn't like. The things that they didn't like can easily be put aside and forgotten. Concentrate on what they liked. Embrace the positivity in everything, and you will automatically be more confident. And let the small mistakes go. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Even the best designers in the world are not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. And the trick is not to dwell on those small errors. Don't obsess over them. Whatever you did wrong, let it go. Instead, take responsibility. If it is an actual mistake, take responsibility. Apologize to your client if need be. Fix the mistake if you can, and then move on. Don't worry about it. If you keep fretting over it, you're going to lose that confidence that you feel. And strive to improve yourself. The more you practice things and the more you continue to grow, the more you know, the more skills you improve, the more confidence you'll feel in yourself. Confidence is kind of like a muscle. It gets stronger and stronger the more you use it, the more you practice, the more you stretch it. So if you're somebody who doesn't naturally or you don't feel too confident, try practicing it in your day-to-day life. Try acting, as I said earlier, acting more confident with your family and your friends and everyone you deal with in your day-to-day life. And take note on how they react. How do they deal with you? How do they listen to you when you're acting more confident? And use that practice for when you do end up talking to a client. This is just another way of investing in yourself. And when you invest in yourself, you're investing in your business. And finally, don't be afraid to ask for advice. One of the best ways to show a client or anybody how confident you are is by admitting that you don't know something or that you're not able to do something. And if you don't know something or you're not able to do it, let your client know with confidence. And if possible, let them know that you might not be able to do it, but let your clients know that you will find somebody who does. So those are some of the tips that I learned, that some of them I already knew, some of them I've been practicing for years, but some of them, it was just interesting to read them in some of the articles I read preparing for this episode. But anybody who is a graphic designer, web designer, UX designer, UI designer, whatever designer you are, or anybody who runs a business in general, the more confident you feel, the more confident you portray, that you exude, the more confidence clients will have in you, and the more successful your business will be. So the more confident you are, the more money you'll be able to charge. The more confident you are, the more focus and dedication you'll put into your work. Your actual design will improve. The more confident you are, the more your clients will trust you and enjoy working with you and refer you. And the more confident you are, the less stressed you'll be while running your design business, because you'll know that you're doing everything right and your business is growing and you're improving and you're becoming a better person because of it. Now, if you want to continue this conversation and discuss more about confidence, please visit resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 214 and leave a comment for me there. Now, I want to take a quick minute to remind you of the resource of the week, which was SiteGround. If you're looking for a web host, either because you're new to web hosting or if you want to switch web host, maybe you're not happy with where you are, I would highly encourage you to check out SiteGround. As I said, I've been with them for a couple of years now, and I am really happy with the services and everything I've had there. The websites have all run really smoothly. I find them really fast, and the service is second to none. Now, I do, as I said earlier, have an affiliate link, resourcefuldesigner.com/SiteGround. And if you use that link, I make a small commission on the sale. But that's not why I'm promoting it. As I said, I've been using it for a couple of years now, and I'm very, very happy with it. And finally, I want to remind you one more time about the Resourceful Designer community. Those of us in the community would love to have you as a part of it. It's really great getting to know everybody within the community on a personal level, know their business, know their personal lives, which it makes it so much easier for us to help each other out. Just knowing some background behind the people that are asking these questions. So much more than you can do in a Facebook group. So if that's something that interests you, if you're looking for a way to help improve your business, please visit resourcefuldesigner.com/community and consider joining today. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to sharing more advice next week about running a graphic design business. Until then, I am Mark DeCote, wishing you all the best with your design business and reminding you to stay creative.
Thanks for listening to the Resourceful Designer Podcast at resourcefuldesigner.com.